All right, so everyone wants to know what's going on in Elon Musk's brain.
Oh, absolutely.
We took a deep dive into his Joe Rogan Experience episode, #1609, and it is a wild ride.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, we're talking Mars, Tesla, AI, you name it.
It's all connected, though, isn't it?
It is, and it's kind of blowing my mind how his fear of humanity going extinct ties it all together.
Yeah, it's like the driving force behind everything he does. Did you know he actually credits the movie The Dictator for inspiring Starship's design?
You're kidding? At the pointy end.
Yeah, the pointy end.
That's hilarious. I never would have guessed.
It's a funny story, but Starship itself is a serious piece of engineering.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this thing is going to be the biggest thing we've ever flown.
Wow.
Heavier than any airplane.
Right.
Twice the thrust of the Saturn V rocket.
Okay, hold on. Why does it need to be so massive? Fill me in.
Well, remember, back to the whole extinction thing.
Right.
Musk wants to make humans multi-planetary, like an insurance policy. And to get to Mars and actually survive there, you need to haul a lot of stuff.
That makes sense. But is he serious when he says we'll be going to Mars regularly in just 2 years?
He claims it's possible, yeah.
Wow.
And this is all tied to the Fermi paradox. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Where are all the aliens? Question.
Right.
It fascinates him. And he thinks there are two possibilities.
Okay.
And they're both kind of terrifying.
Right on me.
Either there are tons of advanced civilizations out there,
Okay.
and maybe they see us as a threat,
Oh.
or civilizations just tend to self-destruct before they can get to interstellar travel.
Okay, now that is some serious doom and gloom.
It's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But Musk sees colonizing Mars as a way to maybe pass one of these great filters.
A great filter.
Yeah, the things that could wipe out a civilization.
I see.
Like it's a test to see if we can survive as a species.
So Mars is basically our escape hatch.
In a way, yeah. It's a bold vision.
I kind of like it.
And he doesn't just want to get there. He wants to terraform it.
Terraform it. What does that mean?
Make it more like Earth.
Like livable.
Exactly. Even warm enough to potentially support life on its own.
That sounds a little far-fetched, even for Elon.
Oh, it's a huge challenge, no doubt. Mars has way less gravity than Earth.
Oh, right.
And its magnetic field is super weak.
What does that mean?
It means its atmosphere would probably just disappear into space over time, even if we warmed it up.
So maybe a Martian paradise is a long way off?
Maybe. But the timeline is vast. Musk thinks we have hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of years to figure it out.
Wow. Now that's thinking long term.
Definitely. But let's bring things back down to Earth for a minute and talk about Tesla.
Yeah, good idea. Because everyone thinks Elon's all about electric cars and saving the planet.
Well, it's deeper than that, actually.
So?
It's not just about the environment. He believes oil depletion and maybe even societal collapse are inevitable.
Whoa, okay.
He sees those as real threats, so Tesla is part of a bigger plan.
I never thought of it that way.
And remember, early electric cars failed because their range was terrible.
Yeah, people didn't want to get stranded with a dead battery.
Right, so that's what Tesla is laser focused on solving, getting that range anxiety down.
And they've come a long way, I gotta admit.
Oh, absolutely. Not just bigger batteries, but more efficient ones, and less reliance on so-called conflict minerals, like lithium.
That's a big concern for a lot of people.
Yeah, but actually, lithium is more abundant than you might think.
Huh, interesting. So, maybe not as much of an ethical problem as some people make it out to be?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But speaking of things that are a little controversial, have you heard about Musk's push for a carbon tax?
Oh, yeah, he talks about that a lot.
Yeah, it's a hot-button issue, for sure.
It is. Why does he think it's a good idea?
Well, his reasoning is based on what economists call unpriced externalities.
Okay, break that down for me.
Basically, things like fossil fuels don't really reflect their true cost to society.
You mean like the damage to the environment? So we're not really paying the full price at the pump.
Right. Musk uses a great analogy.
Yeah.
He says it's like garbage removal.
Okay.
If garbage removal was free, everyone would just dump their trash anywhere.
True.
But if you put a price on it, people think twice
Yeah.
and find ways to reduce their waste.
Okay, I can see his point.
And to show he's serious, Musk said SpaceX would be happy to pay a carbon tax.
Lead by example, huh?
Exactly. Now, when it comes to designing Teslas,
Okay.
Musk has a very unique philosophy.
Which is?
I'm going to build cars that I love, and hopefully other people will love them too.
I mean, it's working pretty well for him.
It is. But some of those designs are pretty out there.
You're not wrong.
Like a Model S,
Yeah.
amazing performance,
Yeah.
super safe. But it also has a bioweapon defense mode. Oh, what? A bioweapon defense mode with HEPA filters like they use in hospitals?
You're kidding.
Nope. You could drive through a biohazard zone in that thing.
What? That's nuts. Who even thinks of that?
Well, Elon Musk does.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Model X with those falcon wing doors.
Oh, yeah, those things.
Imagine trying to park that in a tight spot.
I know, right?
Musk even admitted it might have been a little hubris to go with those doors.
Yeah, but they look cool.
He says it's about making sustainable SUVs exciting, capturing people's imaginations.
Fair enough. And then there's the Cybertruck, which looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. And who could forget that whole broken window demo?
The sledgehammer?
Yeah.
Musk says hitting the door with the sledgehammer weakened the glass. That's why it broke.
Interesting. At least it's bulletproof, right?
Right. But what about the Roadster?
The one that's supposed to be too fast?
Yeah, the acceleration is insane. But get this.
What?
He's talking about using rocket technology so it could potentially hover.
Wait, a hovering Tesla? Come on.
I know, right?
Now that's pushing the limits.
That's Elon Musk for you. But when it comes to AI, he's a little more cautious.
Cautious, how so?
He sees the huge potential for good,
Yeah.
but also a real existential threat if we're not careful.
Like a Terminator situation.
He actually uses that analogy. He worries about AI becoming self-aware and seeing humans as a problem. That's why he's big on safeguards and ethical guidelines as AI keeps evolving.
That's definitely a sobering thought after all that talk of Mars and hover cars.
It is. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're just scratching the surface here. We haven't even touched on his views on energy or his critiques of some of the biggest tech companies out there.
Back again for more Elon Musk. Last time, things got pretty intense.
Yeah, AI taking over, escaping to Mars.
The whole 9 yards.
But even with all that, you can feel his optimism about the future.
Yeah, especially when he talks about how tech can solve our problems.
He really believes in it.
Especially when it comes to energy. I mean, obviously, he's all about sustainability with Tesla.
Of course.
But he also has these really practical ideas about getting us off fossil fuels.
He does. He's not just about these grand visions. He's thinking about the nitty-gritty details of how we get there.
Right, and that's where his carbon tax idea comes back in.
Absolutely.
He's convinced it's the best way to make clean energy happen.
It's about incentives, right?
Yeah, it's almost like he's saying, let's not villainize the oil and gas companies.
Right.
Let's give them a reason to be part of the solution.
Exactly. And he's willing to put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, remember he said SpaceX would pay a carbon tax?
Leading by example.
Totally.
It makes you think about the climate problem in a different way.
Yeah, it's not just about government regulations.
It's about the market driving change.
Totally. And it's cool to see a leader who's willing to champion an idea that's controversial.
It is. It might be unpopular, but it could be what we need.
So we've covered space, cars, energy.
What else is there?
Oh, yeah, the whole tech world.
Oh, boy.
And let me tell you, he did not hold back on some of the biggest companies out there.
He did not.
Especially when it comes to data privacy.
He's got some strong opinions there.
Yeah, he's really worried about how much data companies like Google and Facebook are collecting. He sees it as a threat to our privacy.
Definitely.
Maybe even democracy itself.
Ah.
He even compared smartphones to tracking devices.
Really?
Yeah, like these companies could be listening to us, watching us through our cameras.
Even when we think they're off.
Exactly. It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It is. You got to wonder what we're giving up for convenience.
Yeah, all this technology, is it worth our privacy?
Big questions.
And then there's the whole question of what happens to all that data as AI gets smarter.
Oh, that's a whole other can of worms.
Right. He paints these dystopian pictures.
AI going rogue, becoming malicious.
It's like he's saying progress isn't always a good thing.
It's a warning.
Yeah, like we need to be aware of the power we're giving these technologies.
Definitely. More critical thinking.
But it's interesting because he's not anti-technology.
Not at all.
He just wants us to be mindful of the downsides, steer things in a better direction.
I think it will develop.
Absolutely.
One thing I found really interesting was his take on his design process
No, yeah.
and how hard it is to bring new things to the world.
Like that whole Top Gear thing with the Tesla Roadster.
Exactly. Where they said the car broke down during filming.
Yeah, but Tesla said it was faked.
Yeah, it was a whole mess.
I bet he was furious.
You can tell he's passionate about his products.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
And he sees that whole thing as an attack on Tesla.
Trying to make them look bad.
Right. And I think it shows how hard it is to disrupt the status quo.
People don't like change.
They don't, especially if they're benefiting from the way things are.
It's not just the media he's had to fight with.
No, he's butting heads with regulators,
Oh, yeah.
even other tech giants.
Like when he went after Bill Gates about electric trucks,
That was a good one.
they had such different visions for the future.
They did. It was fascinating.
Musk basically said Gates didn't understand the tech.
He didn't pull any punches.
He kind of loves proving people wrong.
He does. It's part of what drives him.
To push boundaries, defy expectations.
And you got to admit, he's done a lot of things people thought were impossible.
He has landing rockets, electric cars that can beat gas guzzlers.
It's incredible.
And it feels like he's just getting started.
He is.
So where does that leave us? What have we learned about Elon Musk?
Well, he's a complicated guy.
Yeah.
Visionary, engineer, showman. Definitely likes to stir things up.
He's not afraid to break the mold, push the limits.
And, yeah, maybe even break a few windows along the way.
But deep down, he believes in technology.
He does.
He thinks it can make things better for everyone.
The better future.
And whether you agree with how he does things or not, he's a force to be reckoned with.
Definitely a huge influence on the 21st century.
Absolutely. Now, remember that whole Fermi paradox thing?
Yeah.
The two possibilities about aliens?
Super interesting.
Kind of scary, too.
Well, in the last part of our deep dive, we're going even deeper into Musk's more out there ideas.
Like what?
Consciousness, digital life, the fate of humanity.
But I love everyone.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Okay, final part of our Elon Musk journey.
That's right.
We've been through a lot.
We have.
Mars, electric cars, AI freaking out, even a carbon tax.
It's been a wild ride.
It has, but this last part,
Yeah.
this is where things get really weird.
Oh, yeah. This is where we go full philosophy.
Full philosophy with Joe Rogan.
Elon gets into some deep stuff.
You mentioned something about him believing we're all living in a simulation.
The simulation theory?
Like the Matrix.
Exactly. Like the Matrix.
Is he serious?
He brings it up not as like a definite fact, more like a thought experiment.
Okay.
He says if computer power keeps growing at this rate, future civilizations could create simulations that are basically real.
Indistinguishable from reality.
Right. Whoa. It's trippy.
Okay, let's say for a second.
Yeah.
We are in a simulation.
Okay.
Does that even change anything?
Well, that's where things get interesting. Musk thinks the creators of this simulation, they might be watching us.
Watching us?
Yeah, studying our behavior, maybe even controlling things a little.
Okay, now that's getting a little creepy.
It is a little creepy, but also kind of cool.
I guess, like, are we just lab rats?
Maybe. Or maybe it's more like a cosmic reality show.
A reality show.
Yeah, they're just watching us to see what we do.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing being in a simulation.
Not necessarily. It just makes you question everything.
Everything.
What is real, what isn't.
And even if we are just Sims in a computer program,
Yeah.
our problems are still real, right?
Of course, climate change, all the things we worry about.
They're still happening.
Exactly. And that's where Musk's vision comes back.
Okay.
And technology, he sees it as the way to solve these problems.
Not just escaping to Mars.
Right. Or building cool gadgets.
It's about making things better here and now.
Exactly. Using our brains to create a better future.
But he's not naive about it.
No. He knows there are risks.
We can't just blindly trust new technology.
We have to think about the consequences.
It's a balance.
It is.
Be bold, but be responsible.
Exactly.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? What stands out to you about Elon Musk?
For me, it's that he's not just another rich tech guy.
Yeah,
He's thinking about the big picture, humanity's future.
he is.
And he's actually doing something about it.
He's out there building rockets, electric cars.
Trying to get us to think differently.
Exactly.
It's inspiring in a way.
It is.
It shows that we have the power to shape the future.
We're not just along for the ride.
We have choices to make.
I like that.
It's a powerful message.
Well, I think that about wraps up our Elon Musk deep dive.
That's it.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. It's been a wild one.
It has.
Keep those brains working, keep learning.
Absolutely.
And maybe, just maybe, we can all help create a better future.
That's what it's all about.
Until next time.